In this historical photograph, a 23-year-old military sergeant named Herbert Lair is carrying this, a small magnesium box, and inside is the core of an atomic bomb. In the northwest corner of the White Sands Missile Range was a top-secret test site, codenamed Trinity, where they would test the world's first atomic bomb, a handmade experimental implosion bomb, referred to as the Gadget for security purposes.
This is called an implosion bomb, or Fat Man, and what it is that it's a lot of high explosives. In the very center is the ball of plutonium about the size of a tennis ball. The whole purpose of all of this material is to force symmetrically and simultaneously the shock wave to force that ball down to its smallest point, at which point it will explode. That's the secret of the atomic bomb.
As mentioned earlier, in the late afternoon of July 12, 1945, the sergeant delivered the two halves of the bomb's plutonium core, referred to as the pit, and a neutron initiator to the McDonald Ranch House, an old farmhouse that was now only 2 miles from where they detonate the device, dubbed Ground Zero. And the master bedroom, which was transformed into a crudely constructed clean room, was used to assemble the bomb's core. But assembly wouldn't begin until the following day. On the morning of the 13th, Trinity's G1 pit assembly team met in the master bedroom and unloaded the components from 2 separate carrying cases onto a wooden workbench. If the assembly team were to make any mistakes, the bomb, which took nearly 3 years to create, could fail, or worse, prematurely detonate. But the assembly team was prepared, with some wearing radiation-detecting film badges around their neck and only using tools from a special assembly kit. That afternoon, the pit, encased in a capsule of uranium-238, referred to as a tamper plug, was carried outside by Herbert Lair and Harry Doglian on a wooden stretcher, since it now weighed at least 100 pounds, and was placed in the back seat of the Chrysler Plymouth that would deliver it to Ground Zero. The fully assembled uranium plug arrived at 3:18 p.m. and was carried into a large tent below a 100-foot tall steel tower, where the Gadget's 5,000-pound high-explosive shell was waiting, and the uranium-confined pit was placed onto a large wooden box next to the bomb. Today, there's only a pair of rusting steel supports left from that tower. 2 months before this, in a secret letter, it was decided that it would be very desirable if the Gadget could be completely assembled at Site Y, delivered to Ground Zero, and then, by the use of a trapdoor, the pit assembly team could insert the material. To access this, the G2 explosives team unscrewed the polar cap, removed it with a portable hoist, and took out a segment of high explosives. But when Herbert Lair, wearing a white shirt and glasses, carefully guided the plug into the center of the handmade explosives, it suddenly got stuck, and the team had no idea why. But after just a few minutes, the plug slid down the trapdoor. The problem was that it had expanded in the hot desert conditions on the site, and once it cooled, it fit perfectly into the bomb, soothing the nerves of the assembly teams and completing their assignment. And 3 days later, exactly 45 seconds into 5:29 a.m., on July 16, 1945, the device they had just assembled was tested.
So what's the importance of this place? What's the meaning? The meaning is that there are very few places on Earth, in fact, I can't think of one, in which history and civilization and science changed in a fraction of a second. We have battlefields, we have Waterloo, we have Shiloh, we have great civilizations that rise and fall, but they occur over time. Battles take days, weeks, months. Civilization takes centuries to rise and fall. Everything changed in 1 second with this device. Now, the meaning of it is that it produced a double-edged sword. On one side of the sword, it represents this extraordinary achievement by science. On the other, it represents the apocalypse. So it's for human beings to manage the science and the danger, or, as the Japanese are wont to say, to manage the atom and the annihilation.